It always just cracks me up. Cracks me up.
It's the Bunny Show live with our host and resident sex expert, Bunny.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Bunny Church. How is everybody doing today? I am super excited about this topic not because it's a happy one necessarily, but because I feel like I'm one of those who actually lays it all out there and it's always a popular topic. So what better thing to discuss this morning than girl brain breakups, how girls respond to breakups, and just how they process. So we are going to jump straight in, and I'm excited. Girl brain and breakups. So no matter what, girls and guys process breakups very differently. Oftentimes they come at it from completely different angles. One of them has a plan, one of them often does not. There's just a lot that kind of goes into breaking up. Either way, they're kind of freeing, but also exhausting. Even when you're the instigator of the breakup, it can still kind of take an emotional toll and have a little bit of a surprising nervous system response. So there's all kinds of things to consider, whether you are the one breaking up or the one going through the breakup because you were broken up with. And this applies to long-term dating, marriage, even relatively casual relationships. It applies across the board. I'm just going to keep messing with my hair. It's driving me crazy this morning. Okay, so the first point to keep in mind during breakups is that girls always know that they're going to break up with you long before they do. I've got lots of examples here. It's the term is called monkey branching, and that is that they already have the next cock in sight that they plan to swing to. Now, I will point out that, this is a term that you hear on Twitter, especially a lot, as well as I would say on YouTube. But the basic premise is that girls don't do anything like this without having a safety net and a plan. So girls could break up after 2 years of knowing that they're going to. They could be planning for 6 months. They could be planning for years. I have one girlfriend that I know of that we have actually talked about on our podcast before also. She knew that her marriage to her husband and the father of her children was not going to last. She knew that she was going to leave. But rather than leave, she first applied and enrolled in grad school, went through an entire master's course, graduated with honors, and then left the marriage. She knew for 3 years that she was going to exit this marriage, and her husband was none the wiser until he found out about it. So girls like this, girls do these plans all the time. I am also guilty of this. Knowing that a breakup is coming, when I was exiting my marriage, I was slowly packing boxes and hiding them away. This is the way that girls plan and process. Girls will not tell you that they're breaking up with you. They probably won't even give any indications that they're unhappy with the relationship. One thing that we were talking about even this morning was it's just a feelings thing. So it may not even be rooted in anything other than she's bored. She isn't feeling it. Maybe your schedules have not been working out for for a few weeks. It takes so little time to turn girls off. It is sad. It's almost ridiculous because it just doesn't take much to get girls looking elsewhere for attention, for inspiration of sorts, and for security. So if you're going through a hard time financially, if you're very busy at work and aren't around as much, if you're not dating as much as you used to before you were married or before you got into a more serious relationship, the kids are keeping you busy. The kids are causing stress. You're working opposite schedules. Maybe you're trying to balance it all and keep kids out of daycare. And so you're working an earlier work schedule and she's working a later work schedule. All of this causes problems in the marriage and in the relationship and causes girls to immediately be unhappy. And once a girl is unhappy or bored, I love that I've got like my congregation over here. Fort Worth keeps going, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I've seen that.
like preach. It does not take much for a girl to be bored, unhappy, and looking for attention elsewhere. And along with monkey branching is the fact that girls tend to have this belief that they are always the best version of themselves. And so, you know, instead of me thinking about me being 45 and out in the dating market, I think of myself as 22 and out in the dating market. And this is completely bizarre because clearly I am not 22. Even when I was 22, I would say that I probably didn't look 22. My girlfriend from college, my best friend from college, just last night messaged me, and she was driving through Abilene, Texas, which is our college town. And she's like, this is bringing back so many memories. She's like, we need to make a girl trip over here and, you know, do the campus thing that we always used to do. And she's like, I still have my college ID. I'm sure we could get away with it. I was like, I didn't feel like I looked college age even when I was still in college. I mean, because I got married midway through college. I started having children a little bit later than that. Like, I kind of even then felt like I did not even look like a college student. So I don't know. I'm like, maybe you can, but I can't. And by the way, honey, you're going to have to color those grays before you try and pass off as a college student. But girls have this this mindset that they are going to be getting the attention if they break up that they got when they were at their best. And it's just not accurate. Most girls are hit pretty hard in the face with the exact opposite, and with the reality that the guys who were constantly chasing after her at her prime are no longer there. So it's a hard pill for most girls to swallow, but they will not break up without a plan, and they will not be letting you in on the plan until their plan is in place. Number 2, keep in mind that post breakup, whether she does the breaking up or you do, girls will inevitably go on I'm going to call it a journey of self-discovery, which is really just code for they're going to hoe around a lot. They're going to travel a lot, which is another excuse to hoe around. They're going to essentially become a person that you do not recognize any longer. They're going, I hope you guys can hear him like agreeing over here. It's cracking me up. They're going to go out drinking. Maybe they weren't big drinkers, but suddenly they are. They might take up smoking. I've heard of a lot of newly single girls who randomly take up smoking for no reason whatsoever. it just goes with the going out bar kind of atmosphere and vibe. They're going to run through boyfriends. They're going to, whether they're like a serial monogamist, where the first few boyfriends post breakup, they actually like post about and share about on social media. But then quickly they realize that I'm introducing a lot of people as my boyfriend, and then quickly deleting everything. And so they stop doing that. But she's going to become a woman that you do not recognize. This is especially true if this was a long-term marriage, the mother of your children. So keep this in mind. You are not going to recognize this woman within a month of breaking up. She will not be recognizable to you at all. She'll be riding all the dick she can. She'll be probably drinking excessively. She'll be partying, whatever that looks like for her. Maybe that's girl trips. Maybe that's genuinely going out and partying. Maybe it's just more bar time, more things that she's sharing. Even if you're not like friends or following one another on social media, you know, suddenly she's going to need you to take the kids a lot more and things like that because she's got plans. It's always that she's got plans. So keep all of this in mind, because she will go through this phase where she will fall off the deep end. And you can only just hope, especially if you share children with her, that she doesn't ride this roller coaster long, because it's not healthy. A lot of times it'll lead to tattoos. It leads to just self-destructive behaviors that become the new norm. So you do not want that to happen, especially if this is the mother of your children. Let's see. She's going to have to prove her worth in the sexual marketplace. Because, and we talked about this on the Morning Hustle the other day, and one of you in particular was shocked, but whenever men and women break up, inevitably on the way out, he will trash her looks. He will trash her desirability. He will trash her as a sexual partner. You were crap in bed. You were terrible in bed. I always hated fucking you. You're ugly, you're old, nobody's going to want you. You know, you're not as hot as you used to be. Nobody's going to look twice at you. Men will say this all the time in one way or the other. And a lot of times even in front of the children, which is just a shitty thing to do and not all that healthy. But that's a whole other discussion about, that's a whole other bunny soapbox about like, men and women trashing the other parent in front of the kids. But know that she has to prove you wrong. So after a breakup, she has to prove to herself that she is a sexually attractive woman, that she is desired by men, that she is not great in bed, that she's not bad in bed, that men want to fuck her, that men want to provide for her. What's funny about this is oftentimes these girls, because they hit the ground running and have a lot to prove to themselves and to him in a way, they will get fucked by a lot of men, by as many as they want to, really. I mean, it is not hard for girls to have sex. We literally just have to show up and make ourselves available. The caveat is, and where these girls get run through whenever they're going through or have just come out of a breakup, is the disappointment that comes with the fact that just because they'll fuck her does not mean that they want to build a life with her. And so this is where you see the first few guys she is dating show up on social media. She shares them almost immediately. Most women will kind of jump straight into what they think is a relationship that's not at all. So this is where these girls will get run through, and kind of emotionally destroyed by the reality that they cannot nail the guy down in the same way that they probably could have earlier. The next point to remember whenever going through a breakup is that girls will seek out and fuck at least one of your friends, if possible. Keep in mind that the guy, why are you laughing?
It's true. It's true.
The guy rule of thumb about like not fucking your buddy's friends goes out the window, because social circle game is the absolute easiest prey there is. And I will say this is true for guys and girls. It's just easier. They're familiar, even if they're just, you know, like distant friends or acquaintances. It's more familiar to fuck someone that you already have some sort of like degree of separation from, like very slight. So social circle game is a big deal. But specifically, fucking one of your friends will be a goal, because the attraction that was apparently, you know, maybe they've been a little bit flirtatious over the years, or maybe it's just that she wants you to know that she is without a doubt fucking someone else. And if she fucks one of your friends, you will find out about it. And that's the most important factor, is that you know that another man wants her. And if he's one of your friends, it's a double bonus for her, because you wouldn't be friends with some piece of garbage guy. So of course, you know, instead of being able to like soothe yourself that she's only fucking these low quality guys that she's meeting in bars or whatever, no, she's fucking one of your buddies. So you know that he's a decent guy. So if she can fuck him, you find out about it, and you already know that he's a pretty high caliber guy because he runs in your social circle and you only hang out with high caliber guys. And keep in mind also, never discount, even with the guy rule of like not you know, fucking your not being interested in your friends, girlfriends or wives or whatnot, or exes. It never fails that's when the guys actually come out of the woodwork. It is not hard for a girl to keep it in the social circle when there's a breakup, because the guys will reach out and check on her on how she's doing. So these orbiters that even are social circle guys who have known you as well and known you as a couple will reach out and check on her. And that's the way, and that's the way he opens the door to being able to fuck her. So keep this in mind. Keep your friends close and your enemies, or your enemies close and your friends closer, or whatever it is. I just completely fucked that. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Anyway, know that your friends want to fuck your girl. And this is true whether your girl is 300 pounds or 100 pounds, because she can cook, or she takes such good care of him, or I always wish that I had a girl who kept a house the way that she does. These kinds of things are what appeals to buddies whenever there's a breakup. So just keep all of this in mind. Your friends will be seeking out to fuck your breakup girl. Just know that. Another thing that I want you to keep in mind, and this is kind of a next step. After a breakup, whether she instigates it or you do, there will be a roller coaster of emotions. No matter how much she claims to hate you or be bored by you or not like you anymore, or any of the things that she has said in the course of the breakup, know that there will be a roller coaster of emotions that comes. So because she's likely going to start drinking more heavily than she did when you were together, because she's going to be getting run through and highly disappointed more often than not, because she's not getting the attention that she thought she would in the sexual marketplace, or from guys who are the caliber that she would actually want to spend time with outside of just a quick fuck. There will be a lot of emotions on her part. She will inevitably want to get back together. She will beg for you to take her back. This happens all the time, whether she breaks up or you do. And it may just be a momentary lapse in her judgment, or a moment, a night that she's just feeling lonely and needing attention. So do not take this stuff seriously. The best thing that you can do is to, as a man, fly under the radar as much as possible, because she's going to be sending late night texts. She's going to be calling you. She's going to be checking on you. If you guys share any accounts, she will be digging through them. She will be seeing where you're going on social media, on the map app. Like, literally, there are so many ways that we are connected at this point when you're in a couple, that she will be checking on all of them. She will be checking on your bills. I mean, she'll be checking on anything that she has access to. So keep all of this in mind, and anything can trigger her reaching out to you, either through anger or through missing you, but inevitably just wanting to seek attention. She'll be sad. She'll be tearful. She'll be angry. She'll be screaming. You name it. She will be having outbursts. She will probably make at least one public display of making an ass of herself. No, all of this is coming down the pike in a breakup. It's just inevitable. But the best thing that you can do is lay as low as possible. Not feed her emotional psychosis that she's going through and all of this. Ignore as much as you can. Don't feed or empathize with her. But girls are seeking your attention in this moment as much as they were at the onset of your relationship, when they were trying to get your attention. They just want the attention, and girls hate to be ignored. So they will not continually put themselves in a position to be ignored. So if you just don't give their outbursts any merit, they will stop more quickly than if you feed the machine and you allow this to get you worked up and to jump right in. So the best thing that you can do is not fight back, not bother. I mean, and men are action takers. This is a hard one.
Very hard.
The best thing that you can do is not fight back, not feed the emotional roller coaster. And if you're dating someone else, or if you're going out and doing things, not posting about it as much as you would like to, maybe, if you particularly like social media. And a lot of guys really have a revenge fantasy where they want to post, even if they hate social media, suddenly they'll start posting on social, to kind of, because they know she's watching, to rub it in her face. But that will inevitably just cause more of an onslaught and elongate her, lengthen the tail of her wanting to have outbursts, check up on you, and make your life pretty fucking miserable. So I do not encourage you to feed her emotional machine any more than you absolutely have to. A lot of it has to do with like shared kids and things like that. So if there's any of that kind of stuff going on, you have to deal with her to a certain extent. But the best thing that you can do is have minimal contact, minimal dispute. And I'm not suggesting that any man kowtown to what she wants and just give in to what she wants. But when she's just being emotional to be emotional, don't give it any credence whatsoever. This too shall pass, and it will pass more quickly the less energy that you give these emotional outbursts and roller coaster. And if you decide that you actually want to take this girl back, I suggest, first of all, no, I always start by saying, are you sure you want to? Because the thing that broke you up will inevitably come up, I say, within a week of getting back together. The problems don't go away. If the problem was going to go away, it would have gone away before you broke up, and you would have stayed together. So if you were going to do the work to stay together and make the problem go away or be fixed or work through it, it would have happened before the breakup. Very, very seldom does the problem that broke you up in the first place not immediately rear its ugly head. Usually there's about a 5-day honeymoon period when you get back together, and then the shit hits the fan all over again, and it's just an absolute mess. So first and foremost, I always have to say, are you sure? Are you sure you want to get back together? I don't know. Can you live with whatever it was that broke you up? That's the important question to ask. But know, if you decide to bring a girl back into your life, that the best course of action is to not invest in her emotionally or financially. So bring her in as kind of a fuck buddy status and make it very clear that she's kind of lost all privileges. She's lost girlfriend privileges. She no longer has wife privileges. Whatever the case may be, the clearer that you can be about your boundaries and making sure that you don't land in that spot again, the better the relationship can actually be. So as long as everyone is clear that you're bringing her back in because you have a hot sex life, that's awesome. But girlfriend privileges are cut off. That she's not going to be taken out on dates. She can bring pizza over. She can bring a movie. You can, Netflix and fuck, but she doesn't get any, you're not rewarding her bad behavior, which was whatever caused the breakup. So I like to suggest that if you're going to allow a girl to come back into your life, do so with a great amount of caution, knowing that the problems that broke you up will inevitably be back. So don't have any disillusion that you're not going to see that issue again. All of this being said, the stronger your sex life is, the better your relationship will be. Everybody in coupledom, whether you're co-parenting together, whether you're raising children together, whether you've been married 30 years or 3, whether you are just starting out in a relationship, everything is better and people are more connected and just better united when the sex is strong, a strong component in your relationship. This is the last week. Fort Worth has shared the link. This is the last week before I launch my Fuck Like a Porn Star 21-day course. It is going to be multimedia and super good. 21 straight days of Fuck Like a Porn Star lessons. I am giving you, and the code that Fort Worth shared is the link to the Fuck Like a Porn Star course at a $48 discount. So essentially, and you also get this discount if you have purchased the Fuck Like a Porn Star book. This is an extreme expansion on the book. So if you've read the book, you did? Okay. This is an extreme expansion on the Fuck Like a Porn Star book. So this 21-day course is going to be fantastic. I hope you will join in and join me on that little journey. Now, I did get a question this morning from Twitter, and this is a good one. It doesn't have to do with girl brain and breakups, but it is a very good question that I feel like is probably a very real concern that a lot of men have, especially younger men. So Daniel said, can you guys talk about whether or not all women bleed when losing their virginity? Is it possible to be 100% sure that you are with a virgin? And I don't have a long explanation for this. We have done a podcast before on whether virgins are overrated. So feel free to check that out. But the real question is, or the real answer to this question is, if a girl is a virgin, she will generally bleed when that hymen, I think it is like broken. But girls will bleed at varying levels. And it's not, I think, like men imagine that it is, where it's like an immediate gushing of blood, like childbirth or something. It's not like that. In fact, it could be hours later before any blood shows whatsoever. So it is hard. I would think it would be very difficult for a man to actually tell whether the girl he's with is genuinely a virgin. I know this is not what you want to hear, but there's just, because even with a girl who has had sex before, but maybe hasn't had sex in a while, she kind of tightens up a little bit in that vaginal area. So, there could be, so there's not even like an understanding that if she's super tight, then she must be a virgin. There's not always a lot of blood. I have some friends who bled kind of like a normal period amount. And like myself, I barely spotted. Like there was very little blood involved at all whenever I lost my virginity. So, and it was hours after the fact. So just know that there's a whole varying level of the amount of blood that a girl will give off whenever she loses her virginity, but it's not necessarily in that moment. I think that a lot could be told about girls in their monthly cycles, how much they bleed at that point, probably being a determining factor as to how much they bleed when they lose their virginity. Because girls who are heavier bleeders just are heavier bleeders. So there's going to be more of that body production happening for those kinds of girls. I think on occasion when you lose your virginity, and we all, it must be a thing where some girls do bleed more almost instantly when they lose their virginity, because it's a very real concern for girls when we do, that we are nervous that it's going to make a mess. So know that there are some girls who may bleed initially, right away in the sex act. But quite honestly, if the man's a virgin, especially the guy, hey Marty, then if he's a virgin also, and maybe this is why my bleeding didn't happen until like a little bit later, because we were both virgins. It didn't last very long. Like it was a very quick process. This thing that had been led up to for so many years. But so maybe that's what a lot of what it boils down to, between how far you can go, how long you can, hang in there, and as the male, like really get her worked up and excited and just be pumping away, and how heavy a natural bleeder she is as well. But I would say, unfortunately, the answer to your question is I don't think you're going to be able to tell all that well, especially in the moment, whether she, because of the amount of blood, which was the question, whether she was a virgin or not. So I I hate to kind of be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not sure that that's really a great indication because I'm not sure that you're going to be aware of blood or not blood. Baby, were you able to find the question that was being referenced in the chat?
No, and I haven't seen anything come across on email inquiry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I asked if he was on, if he's on Twitter to reach out to us directly through.
Okay. Fresh Start, you might have, I'm sure you sent it, and maybe give us a little bit of clue as to what it was about, or just resend it, and we will definitely address it. If you, I'm going to just, oh, shoot. Fresh Start. So we will look for that, and if when we find it, or if you send it again, we have a system in place, so I'm sure it's there. We will find it and we will talk about it on the Morning Hustle on Tuesday. Okay. Yes. So tune in or watch after the fact. So we will definitely get that. Whatever that question is, we will answer it then. Sorry, I'm just randomly pushing buttons now. Okay. Marty, you get love. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, okay. On Fresh Start, I'm actually pretty excited about this. I want you guys to tune in on Tuesday morning for our Fresh Start shows. So 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Tuesday morning. We're going to talk about whatever Fresh Start wants to talk about. We're going to answer other questions, but also the primary topic of our conversation, and this is our show, Morning Hustle is our show together, where Fort Worth is on there also, which is very cool. We're going to talk about girls and the attractiveness scale, because there is a lot of confusion with girls and attractiveness, and a lot of girls get worked up about this because they first of all, usually think themselves about 3 or 4 points higher than they actually are, but it is a scale. Attractiveness is on a scale, and there are things that
that's good.
that need to be taken into account, and this is what girls are in complete denial about. But men are also unclear about this, because there have been, and we're going to go into this in more long-term conversation, but there are men who think that girls that essentially get their dick wet are 10s, and unless they're like Miss Universe, they're just not. It's just, now a girl can be a 10 to you, but that's not the same as actually being a 10. So I think there's a real difference between what men respond to and the way women feel that they are, and what is actually true on an attractiveness scale. So we're going to go through that. This is not going to be an easy day for me, by the way, because I do not pretend to be an 8 or a 7, so or a 10. But I have a lovely personality and big boobs. It goes a long way. So all of this, I'm really excited about our conversation on Tuesday morning, and I hope that you guys will tune in for that. So Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Fuck Like a Porn Star course launches next week. The discount code is in the chat. Please take advantage of that, because I want you to sexually win as much as I want you to win everywhere else. So did we get the question from Fresh Start, or are we going to handle it on Tuesday?
We're going to handle it on Tuesday because it's a good topic.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for always being so much fun and being in the chat and just showing love and being here. I love it. So I appreciate you. I want you to win. I want you to survive breakups with these girls and kind of know what to expect. So I'm glad that you tuned in to that. Hide current comment. Sorry, Marty. I don't know. I just kept clicking buttons. I want you to win. I appreciate you tuning in, and we will catch you on the flip side. Bye.